Hey guys, Sean here. Today I'll be profiling my Tenpai Buster Blader deck. As we all know, Tenpai is a very strong meta threat currently. The best counter to the deck is something like Buster Blader, so why not combine the two to make the strongest deck in the game? The decks actually have some decent synergy. Tenpai relies very heavily on going second, so if we need to go first, we can use our Buster Blader engine to flick our opponents, and if we're in a mirror match, we can stop Tenpai altogether. A lot of cool synergies, very unique. We don't run Trident Dragon, so for budget players this is actually a very budget build, so let's get right into it. Let's begin with 3 copies of your Tenpai Dragon Paidra, your main starter of your Tenpai engine. So on summon it lets you add to your hand or set a Sangen spell trap, and then during the battle phase you can quick synchro. It's a dragon, so if it's in grave you can use it for your Buster Blader stuff. It can also help you synchro into some very strong monsters during the battle phase, so 3 copies very standard. Next up, 3 copies of your Tenpai Dragon Chundra. So as an extender, if you control a fire dragon monster, it has the same effect as your Paidra where you can quick synchro during the battle phase, and at the end of the damage step you can special summon a level 4 or lower fire dragon from your deck. Next up, we have 2 copies of your Tenpai Dragon Fadra. Allows you to special summon a level 4 or lower fire dragon from your graveyard when it's summoned or during the battle phase. It protects your fire dragons from being destroyed by battle, and again it can quick effect synchro during the battle phase. Next up we have triple Sangen Kaimen. It's a quick play spell. If you activate this outside of the battle phase you can only choose one of the effects, but if you activate this during the battle phase you can do both in sequence. You can add 1 level 4 lower fire dragon from your deck to your hand, and then you can special summon 1 fire dragon monster from your hand. So essentially a 1 card combo because it can bring out your Paidra, which you can start off your plays that way. During the battle phase this card is very strong. In combination with your Buster Whelp, you won't need to use your normal summon on any of your Tenpais, so you can safely normal summon your Whelp, get the search, and then use your Kaimen to go into your Tenpai engine. And finally we have Sangen Summoning, which is basically your Misc for the deck. It's a field spell that makes all your fire dragon monsters unaffected by your opponent's card effects during the main phase. It also just lets you add a Tenpai dragon from deck to hand, and if this card is destroyed during the battle phase, you can target one of your fire dragon synchro monsters and double its attack. Definitely your best card in your Tenpai engine, protects all your guys, helps you go for OTKs. Now that's the end of the Tenpai engine. We'll move on to the Buster Blader side now. We have 3 copies of your Buster Whelp, which on normal summon lets you search a Destruction Sword card from your deck to your hand. This will almost always search your Prologue of the Destruction Swordsman, which is your trap of your Buster Blader engine. It's a level 1 Dragon Tuner, so that can help you go into some synchros. Unfortunately it is a light, so it won't be protected by your field spell. But the main priority of this card is just normal summon it, get your trap card, and set up your Buster Lock. So we like to run 3 copies here. Next up, 1 copy of your Dragon Buster Destruction Sword. If this is equipped to a monster, your opponent cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck. The main way you're going to get this onto one of your monsters is by using your Buster Dragon in the extra deck, which can equip this from the graveyard to a Buster Blader monster you control. So it's a very strong floodgate, not always necessary, but very good when it comes up. Next up, 2 copies of your Buster Blader the Destruction Swordsman. It generally does not matter which Buster Blader you run, whether it's the retrain or the original. The original might even be more useful because against dragon decks such as Tenpai it gains a bunch of attack, so it can help you OTK. But for the most part we're not summoning this, we're using this with the effect of our Prologue to send it to grave so that we can summon our Buster Dragon. We do need 2 copies because this needs to be in the deck in order to resolve our Prologue. Next up, 3 copies of our Prologue. This allows us to send a Buster Blader monster and a Destruction Sword card from our deck to the graveyard to special summon Buster Dragon from our extra deck. This is the most important card of your Buster Blader engine. The main cards you're going to send off this is your Buster Blader monster and a copy of your Destruction Sword Memories, which while in the grave allows you to banish it along with fusion material to summon a Buster Blader fusion monster from your extra deck. So the main combo is activate Prologue, send a Destruction Sword Memories and a Buster Blader monster, then go chain 2, activate your memories. You're going to banish your Buster Blader monster and a dragon in grave, and then the chain will resolve. You'll get out your Buster Blader fusion monster and you'll get out your Buster Dragon, and that will lock your opponent out of activating monster effects. And to help us get to our Prologue we have triple trap trick. You banish a trap from your deck, then you can set it and then you can activate it that turn, but then you can only activate 1 trap for the rest of the turn. Just an extra way to get to your Prologue, but we also have some cards in the deck that this can also target. And we have some cards in the side deck as well, so 3 copies is very nice and it allows for a lot of different things we can do. Next up, for both engines, Triple Prosperity is very good, just helps us get into certain cards we need. If we're going first, we can get rid of some of our Tenpai stuff. If we're going second, we can get rid of some of our Buster Blader stuff in order to find the missing piece that we need. And of course, Tenpai can OTK through Prosperity, so 3 copies is essential. Next up, for some generic stuff, 1 Magnamhut searches cards from both engines, so you might as well run it. And finally, for the hand traps, we have triple Ash Blossom, triple Nibiru, and triple Imperm. Imperm is very good because you can actually use it off of your trap trick. But yeah, these hand traps are just generically good. Obviously change them out whatever you want. Because we're not going full on Tenpai, we're only running the 9 hand traps here. But you can replace these with board breakers if you want, or you can just keep them with hand traps. Whatever you like, very format dependent, but for this build I think these hand traps here are pretty good. Next up, for the extra deck, we have 1 copy of Bident Dragon and 1 copy of Transcendent Dragon. Only 1 each. You can bump these up, but you really don't need to. Bident Dragon on summon allows you to special summon a fire dragon from your graveyard. And then if this card's in the graveyard and you have attacked 3 or more times during the battle phase, you can special summon this from the graveyard and then pop a spell trap. This can help you clear your opponent's spell traps, or you can even pop your field spell to target itself and then double its attack. This is once per duel, but once you go into these cards you're hoping to win on that turn. Because Bident Dragon brings out a Tenpai from your graveyard, you can use it to quick summon into your Transcendent Dragon, which makes all your opponent's monsters be forced to attack if they're able to, prevents your opponent from activating any cards or effects during the battle phase. On summon, it changes all opponent's monsters to attack position, and the same effect as Bident Dragon. If 3 attacks have been declared this turn and it's in your graveyard, you can special summon it and then pop any card on the field. So these 2 are your main OTK enablers. You don't need Trident Dragon to OTK through Prosperity with this. So 1 copy of each is more than enough, especially considering we're running a Buster Blader engine, so 1 copy of each is perfectly fine. Next up we have Odd Eye's Meteorburst Dragon. Essentially it's a Chaos Ancient Gear Giant, prevents your opponent from activating any cards or effects during the battle phase. So if you go into this and then enter battle phase, you're basically free to OTK. It's also a fire dragon, so it gets protection from your field spell, so 1 copy is very good. Next up, for your Black Rose Dragon cards, we have Black Rose Dragon, Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, and we have Ruddy Rose Dragon. Black Rose, of course, nukes the field when it's summoned, and it's a fire dragon, so your opponent can't respond to it, basically, because it's protected by your field spell. Black Rose Moonlight Dragon is very good because it can bounce a card when it's summoned, or when your opponent special summons a level 5 or higher monster. And Ruddy Rose Dragon can banish all cards in your opponent's graveyard, which can be very good against decks like Snake Eye. It's also a fire dragon. I think the weakest card here is your Black Rose Moonlight Dragon, so you can swap this out with something else if you like, but I think this little package is very nice and suits the deck pretty well. Onto the Buster Blader side, we have 2 copies of your Buster Blader the Dragon Destroyer Swordsman. It turns all your opponent's dragon type monsters to defense position, prevents them from activating dragon type monsters' effect in their possession, and gains 1000 attack and defense for each dragon monster your opponent controls and in your graveyard. So it's fantastic against Tenpai and any other dragon deck like Dragon Link, but in combination with your Buster Dragon, Buster Dragon changes all of your opponent's monsters to dragon type, so if you have both on the field you basically have a one-sided skill drain, and your Buster Blader states that dragon type monsters in your opponent's possession can activate their effects, so your opponent can activate something like a Bystial in the hand or grave, or anything like that. So we run 2 of each. You can definitely run 1 and 1, but I like the consistency of having 2 of each because it allows you to resolve your Prologue twice, which I think is pretty good. Your Buster Dragon also allows you to target a Destruction Sword card in your graveyard and equip it to a Buster Blader monster you control, which is the main way you're going to equip your Dragon Buster to your Buster Blader in order to lock your opponent out of the extra deck. Next up, 1 Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss. You can summon this using your level 1 Buster Whelp and your Buster Dragon. It's not a bad option, but not completely mandatory. It's just good if you have Buster Dragon on field and it's not necessary. You can turn it into a better monster, which can be very good at negating anything on the field. Next up we have 1 copy of your Protector Whelp. It's generic, just needs 2 monsters. On summon it can Foolish Burial a Destruction Sword card, so it can send something like a Dragon Buster so you can set up your extra deck lock, or it can send something like a Memories, which can be helpful for fusion summoning into your Buster Blader fusion monster. Also during the battle phase, if your opponent controls no monsters and you have a Buster Blader on the field who didn't attack, you can inflict battle damage to your opponent equal to your Buster Blader monster's attack, which can come up because your Buster Blader fusion monster cannot attack directly. Finally, for some generic stuff, we have 1 Striker Dragon, mainly used to get your Buster Whelp off the field to set up your Prologue combo. And then we have 2 Spheres because Spheres is just generically good. Any 2 dragon monsters goes into it. It's a bounce, it brings out any dragon monster, so definitely run at least 1, but 2 is pretty good. Finally, for the side deck, we have 1 copy of your Wizard Buster Destruction Sword. You equip it to your Buster Blader the same way as you do your Dragon Buster. However, the effect of this card is that your opponent can activate the effects of cards in their graveyard. So very good against certain decks. The majority of the time, your Dragon Buster is going to be better, but Wizard Buster is a nice option in certain matchups. Next up, Triple Lava Golem can be very good at destroying your opponent's board. It does lock you out of a normal summon, but using your Tenpai Quick Play spell, that really doesn't matter. But you can run regular Kaijus if you want. Next up we have Triple Ghost Ogre, very good in mirror matches with Tenpais, and good against a lot of other decks. Can destroy the field spell and stuff like that, so it's not a bad option, but replace this with whatever you want if you feel like it's not good enough. Next up for back row decks, Triple Cosmic Cyclone and the 1 Harpies. This deck can struggle a lot against back row, so these are pretty necessary. Next up we have 2 copies of your Triple Tactics Trust. It can help you search out your Feather Duster or even your Prologue because it's a normal trap. It can even search the next card here, which is your double Different Dimension Ground, which says that this turn any monster is sent to the graveyard or banished instead. So very good against certain matchups, just basically a dim shifter. Can be searched off your Trust or even your Trap Trick, which is very good. But of course, you can change this side deck however you like. So that's it for my Tenpai Buster Blader deck profile. I think this is a really fun deck. Of course, it might just be better to play pure Tenpai, but as a Tenpai variant, I think it's pretty cool because it is a direct counter to opposing Tenpai builds. It can definitely catch your opponent off guard. The synergy is very good because if you're going second, you can OTK with your Tenpai stuff, and if you have to go first, you can protect yourself with your Buster Blader stuff. So I really like this deck, and I think you can find a good bit of success with it. And it's also very budget in its own right. So thanks for watching, let me know what you think in the comments, and stay tuned for more Buster Blader and Tenpai content in the future.